Hello and welcome back to Brendan Moir's Playwright Corner, where I read plays, poems, or whatever's currently striking my fancy at the moment. Today we're going to be reading another one of W.B. Yeats' plays called The Countess Cathleen, written and or published in 1892. The persons in the play are Seamus Rua, a peasant, Mary, his wife, Teague, his son, Allele, a poet, the Countess Cathleen, Una, her foster mother, and two demons disguised as merchants, along with some peasants, servants, and angelic beings. The scene is laid in Ireland and in old times. Scene 1. A room with lighted fire and a door into the open air, through which one sees perhaps the trees of a wood, and these trees should be painted in flat color upon a gold or diapered sky. The walls are of one color. The scene should have the effect of missal painting. Mary, a woman of 40 years or so, is grinding a quern. Mary. What could have made the grey hen flutter so? Teague, a boy of 14, is coming in with turf, which he lays beside the hearth. Teague. They say that now the land is famine-struck, the graves are walking. And that is not the worst. At Tuppervanach, a woman met a man with ears spread out, and they moved up and down like a bat's wing. What can have kept your father all this while? Teague. 2 nights ago, at Carrickhors's churchyard, a herdsman met a man who had no mouth, nor eyes, nor ears, his face a wall of flesh. He saw him plainly by the light of the moon. Mary. Look out and tell me if your father's coming. Teague goes to the door. Mother! What is it? In the bush beyond. There are 2 birds, if you can call them birds. I could not see them rightly for the leaves, but they've the shape and colour of horned owls, and I'm half certain they've a human face. Mother of God defend us. They're looking at me. What is the good of praying, father says? God and the Mother of God have dropped asleep. What do they care, he says, that the whole land squeal like a rabbit under a weasel's tooth? Mary. You'll bring misfortune with your blasphemies upon your father or yourself and me. Would God that he were home. Ah, there he is. Seamus comes in. What was it kept you in the wood? You know I cannot get all sorts of accidents out of my mind until you're home again. Seamus. I'm in no mood to listen to your clatter. Although I've tramped the woods for half a day, I've taken nothing, for the very rats, badgers, and edrogs seem to have died of drought, and there was scarce a wind in the parched leaves. Teague. Then you brought no dinner? After that I sat among the beggars at the crossroads, and held a hollow hand among the others. Mary. What did you beg? I had no chance to beg. For when the beggars saw me, they cried out they would have no other share their alms, and hunted me away with sticks and stones. Teague. You said that you would bring us food or money. What's in the house? Bits of mouldy bread. Mary. There's flour enough to make another loaf. And when that's gone? There's the hen in the coop, my curse upon the beggars, and the last penny gone. And the hen's gone. What can we do but live on sorrel and dock, and dandelion till our mouths are green? Mary. God that to this hour has found bit and sup will cater for us still. Seamus. His kitchen's bare. There were 5 doors that I looked through this day and saw the dead and not a soul to wake 'em. Mary. Maybe he'd have us die because he knows, when the ear is stopped and when the eye is stopped, that every wicked sight is hid from the eye, and all fool talk from the ear. A stringed instrument without. Seamus. Who's passing there? Teague. A young man plays it. There's an old woman and a lady with him. Seamus. What is the trouble of the porter? Nothing at all, or a harsh radishy sauce for the day's meat. Mary. God's pity on the rich. Had we seen through as many doors and seen the dishes standing on the polished wood in the wax candlelight, we'd be as hard. And there's the needle eye at the end of all. Seamus. My curse upon the rich. Teague. They're coming here. Then down upon that stool. Down quick, I say. And call up a whey face and a whining voice, and let your head be bowed upon your knees. Mary. Had I but time to put the place to rights. Cathleen, Una, and Allele enter. Cathleen. God save all here. There is a certain house, an old grey castle with a kitchen garden, a cider orchard, and a plot for flowers somewhere amongst these woods. Mary. We know it, lady. A place that's set among impassable walls, as though the world's troubles could not find it out. Cathleen. It may be that we are that trouble. For we, although we've wandered in the woods this hour, have lost it too. Yet I should know my way, for I lived all my childhood in that house. Mary. Then you are the Countess Cathleen. Cathleen. And this woman, Una, my nurse, should have remembered it, for we were happy for a long time there. Una, the paths are overgrown with thickets now, or else some change has come upon my sight. Cathleen, and this young man that should have known the woods, because we met him on the border, but now, wandering and singing like a wave of the sea, is so wrapped up in dreams of terrors to come that he can give no help. Mary, you have still some way, but I can put you on the trodden path your servants take when they are marketing. But first, sit down and rest yourself a while, for my old father served your father's lady, longer than books can tell, and it were strange if you and yours should not be welcome here. Cathleen, and it was stranger still were I ungrateful for such kind welcome. But I must be gone, for the night's gathering in. Seamus, it is a long while since I've set eyes on bread, or what buys it. Cathleen, so you are starving even in this wood, where I had thought I would find nothing changed. But that's a dream, for the old worm of the world can eat its way into what place it pleases. She gives money. Teague, beautiful lady, give me something too. I fell but now, being weak with hunger and thirst, and lay upon the threshold like a dog. I gave her all, and that was all I had. But look, my purse is empty. I have passed by starving men and women all this day, and they have had the rest, but take the purse. The silver clasps on it might be worth a trifle. And if you'll come tomorrow to my house, I shall have twice the sum. Allele begins to play. Seamus, muttering, "Want music? Music." Ah, do not blame the finger on the string. The doctors bid me fly the unlucky times and find distractions for my thoughts, or else pine to my grave. Seamus, I have said nothing, lady. Why should the like of us complain? Una, have done. Sorrows that she's but read of in books weigh on her mind as if they had been her own. Una, Mary, and Cathleen go out. Allele looks defiantly at Seamus. Allele, singing. Were I but crazy for love's sake, I know who'd measure out its length. I know the heads that I should break, for crazy men have double strength. I know all's out to leave or take, who mocks at music, mocks at love. Were I but crazy for love's sake, no need to pick and choose, snapping his fingers in Seamus's face. Enough! I know the heads that I should break. He takes a step towards the door and then turns again. Shut to the door before the night has fallen. But who can say what walks, or in what shape? Some devilish creatures flies in the air, but now 2 grey-horned owls hooted above our heads. He goes out. His singing dies away. Mary comes in. Seamus has been counting the money. Seamus. So that fool's gone. Teague. He's seen the horned owls too. There's no good luck in owls. But it may be that the ill luck's to fall upon his head. Mary. Never thanked her ladyship. Thank her for 7 halfpence and a silver bit. But for this empty purse? What's that for thanks? Or what's the double of it, and she promised with bread and flesh and every sort of food up to a price no man has heard the like of and rising every day? Mary. We have all she had. She emptied out the purse before our eyes. Seamus, to Mary, who has gone to close the door. Leave that door open. Mary. When those that have read books and seen the 7 wonders of the world fear what's above or what's below the ground, it's time that poverty should bolt the door. I'll have no bolts, for there is nothing that walks above the ground or under it that I've not rather welcome in this house than any more of mankind, rich or poor, so that they brought us money. Seamus. I heard say there's something that appears like a white bird, a pigeon or a seagull or the like. But if you hit it with a stone or a stick, it clangs as though it's been made of brass. And that if you dig down where it was scratching, you'll find a crock of gold. Teague. But dream of gold for 3 nights running, and there's always gold. You might be starved before you've dug it out. But maybe if you called, something would come. They have been seen of late. Mary. Is it called devils? Called devils from the wood, call them in here. So you'd stand up against me and you'd say who or what I am to welcome here? He hits her. That's to show who's master. Teague. Call them in. Mary. God help us all. Pray if you have a mind to. It's little the sleepy ears above care for your words. But I'll call what I please. Teague. There's many one, they say. Had money from them? Seamus, at door. So be it that you have not shouldered up out of the grave, for I'll have nothing human in free hands and friendly trick of speech. I welcome you. Come, sit beside the fire. What matter if your head's below your arms or you've a horse's tail to whip your flank, feathers instead of hair, that's all but nothing. Come, share what bread and meat is in the house, and stretch your heels and warm them in the ashes. And after that, let's share and share alike and curse all men and women. Come in! Come in! Turning from door. And yet they say they're as common as the grass, and ride even upon the book in the priest's hand. Teague lifts one arm slowly and points towards the door and begins moving backwards. Seamus turns. He also sees something and begins moving backwards. Mary does the same. A man dressed as an Eastern merchant comes in carrying a small carpet. He unrolls it and sits cross-legged at one end of it. Another man dressed in the same way follows and sits at the other end. This is done slowly and deliberately. When they are seated, they take money out of embroidered purses and their girdles and begin arranging it on the carpet. Teague. You speak to them. Seamus. No, you. 'Twas you that called them. Seamus, coming nearer. I'd make so bold, if you would pardon it, to ask if there's a thing you'd have of us. Although we are but poor people, there is... Why, if there is... First merchant. We've travelled a long road, for we are merchants that must tramp the world. And now we look for supper and a fire and a safe corner to count money in. Seamus. I thought you were... But that's no matter now. There had been words between my wife and me, because I said I would be master here and ask him what I pleased or who I pleased, and so... But that is nothing to the point, because it's certain that you are but merchants. First merchant. We travel for the master of all merchants. Seamus. Yet if you were that, I thought but now I'd welcome you no less. Be what you please, and you'll have supper at the market rate. That means that what was sold for but a penny is now worth 50. First merchant, arranging money. Our master bids us pay so good a price that all who deal with us shall eat, drink, and be merry. Seamus, to Mary. Bestir yourself. Go kill and draw the fowl, while Teague and I lay out the plates and make a better fire. Mary. I will not cook for you. Not cook! Not cook! Don't be angry. She wants to pay me back because I struck her in that argument. But she'll get some scent again. Since the dearth came, we've rattled one another as though we were knives thrown into a basket to be cleaned. I will not cook for you, because I know in what unlucky shape you sat but just now outside this door. Teague. It's this, your honours. Because of some wild words my father said, she thinks you are not of those who cast a shadow. Seamus. I said I'd make the devils of the wood welcome if they'd a mind to eat and drink. But it is certain that you are men like us. First merchant. It's strange that she should think we cast no shadow. For there is nothing on the ridge of the world that's more substantial than the merchants are that buy and sell you. Mary. If you're not demons, and see what great wealth is spread out there, give food or money to the starving poor. First merchant. If we knew how to find deserving poor, we'd do our share. Mary. But seek them patiently. First merchant. We know the evils of mere charity. Mary. Those scruples may benefit a common time. I had thought there was a pushing to and fro at times like this that overset the scale and trampled measure down. First merchant. But if already we'd thought of a more prudent way than that. Second merchant. If each one brings a bit of merchandise, We'll give him such a price he never dreamt of. Mary. Where shall the starving come at merchandise? First Merchant. We will ask nothing but what all men have. Mary. Their swine and cattle, fields and implements are sold and gone. First Merchant. They have not sold all yet. For there's a vaporous thing that may be nothing. But that's the buyer's risk. A second self they call immortal for story's sake. Seamus. They come to buy our souls? Teague. I'll barter mine. Why should we starve for what may be but nothing? Mary. Teague. And Seamus. Seamus. What can it be but nothing? What has God poured out of his bag but famine? Satan gives money. Teague. Yet no thunder stirs. First Merchant. There is a heap for each. Seamus goes to take money. But no, not yet. For there's a work I have to set you to. Seamus. So then, you're as deceitful as the rest. And all that talk of buying what's but vapor is fancy bread. I might have known as much. Because that's how the trick-of-the-loop man talks. First Merchant. That's for the work. Each has its separate price. But neither price is paid till the work's done. Teague. The same for me. Mary. Oh God, why are you still? First Merchant. You've but to cry aloud at every crossroad, at every house door that we buy men's souls, and give so good a price that all may live in mirth and comfort till the famine's done. Because we are Christian men. Seamus. Come, let's away. Teague. I shall keep running till I've earned the price. Second Merchant, who has risen and gone towards the fire. Stop. You must have proof behind the words. So here's your entertainment on the road. He throws a bag of money on the ground. Live as you please. Our master's generous. Teague takes the money. They go out. Mary. Destroyer of souls, God will destroy you quickly. You shall at last dry like dry leaves and hang nailed like dead vermin to the doors of God. Second Merchant. Curse to your fill. For saints will have their dreams. First Merchant. Though we're but vermin that our master sent, to overrun the world, he at the end shall put apart the pale ribs of the moon, and quench the stars of the ancestral night. God is all-powerful. Second Merchant. Pray. You shall need him. You shall eat dock and grass and dandelion till that low threshold becomes a wall. And when your hands can scarcely drag your body, we shall be near you. Mary faints. The First Merchant takes up the carpet, spreads it before the fire, and stands in front of it, warming his hands. First Merchant. Our faces go unscratched. Wring the neck of that fowl and scatter the flour, and look if there is bread upon the shelves. Or turn the fowl upon the spit and roast it, and eat the supper we were bidden to. Now that the house is quiet, praise our master, and stretch and warm our heels among the ashes. Scene 2. Front scene. A wood with perhaps distant view of turreted house at one side, but all in flat colour, without light and shade and against a diapered or gold background. Countess Cathleen comes in leaning upon Aleel's arm. Una follows them. Cathleen, stopping. Surely this leafy corner, where one smells the wild bee's honey, has a story too. Una. There is the house at last. Aleel. A man, they say, loved Maeve, the queen of all the invisible host, and died of his love 9 centuries ago. And now, when the moon's riding at the full, she leaves her dancers lonely and lies there upon that level place, and for 3 days stretches and sighs and wets her long pale cheeks. Cathleen. So she loves truly. Allele. No, but wets her cheeks, lady, because she has forgotten his name. She'd sleep that trouble away. Oh, it must be a heavy trouble to forget his name. Una. Your house, lady. Allele. She sleeps high upon wintry Knocknera, in an old cairn of stones, while her poor woman must lie and jog in the wave as they would sleep, being waterborne. Yet if she cry their names, they run up on land and dance in the moon till they are giddy and would love as men do, and be as patient and as pitiful. There is nothing that would stop in their heads. His such poor memories, though they weep for it. Oh yes, they weep. That's when the moon is full. Cathleen. Is it because they have short memories they live so long? What's memory but the ash that chokes our fires that have begun to sink? And they've a dizzy, everlasting fire. Una. There is your own house, lady. Cathleen. Why, that's true. And we'd have passed it without noticing. Allele. A curse upon it for a meddlesome house. Had it but stayed away, I would have known what Queen Maeve thinks of it when the moon is pinched, and whether now, as in the old days, the dancers set their brief love on men. Una. Rest on my arm. These are no thoughts for any Christian year. Allele. I am younger. She would be too heavy for you. He begins taking his lute out of the bag. Cathleen, who has turned towards Una, turns back to him. This hollow box remembers every foot that danced upon the level grass of the world, and will tell secrets if I whisper to it. Lift up the white knee, hear what they sing, those young dancers that in a ring raved, but now of the hearts that broke, long ago for their sake. Una. New friends are sweet, but the dance changes. Lift up the gown. All that sorrow is trodden down. The empty rattlepate. Lean on his arm that I can tell you is a christened arm and not like some if we were to judge by speech. But as you please, it is time I was forgot. Maybe it is not on this arm you slumbered when you were as helpless as a worm, Allele. Stay with me till we come to your own house. Cathleen, sitting down. When I am rested, I will need no help. Allele. I thought to have kept it from remembering the evil of the times for a full 10 minutes. But now when 7 are out, you come between? Talk on. What does it matter what you say, for you have not been christened, old woman. Old woman, you robbed her of 3 minutes' peace of mind. And though you live into 100 years and wash the feet of beggars and give alms and climb Crow Patrick, you shall not be pardoned. How does a man who has never baptized know what heaven pardons? You're a sinful woman. I care no more than if a pig had granted. Enter Kathleen's steward. Steward. I am not to blame, for I locked the gate. The forester's to blame. The men climbed in on the east corner where the elm tree is. Cathleen. I do not understand ye. Who has climbed? Steward. Then God be thanked I am the first to tell you. I was afraid some other of the servants, though I've been on the watch, had been the first and mixed up truth and lies, your ladyship. Cathleen, rising. Has some misfortune happened? Steward. Yes, indeed. The forester that let the branches lie against the walls to blame for everything, for that is how the rogues got into the garden. Cathleen. I thought to have escaped misfortune here. Has anyone been killed? Steward. Oh no, not killed. They have stolen half a cartload of green cabbage. Cathleen. Maybe they were starving. That is certain. To rob and starve, that was the choice they had. A learned theologian has laid down that starving men may take what's necessary, and yet be sinless. Una. Sinless and a thief. There should be broken bottles on the wall. Cathleen. And if it be a sin, while face some broken God cannot help but pardon. There is no soul but its unlike all others in the world. No one but lifts a strangeness to God's love till that's grown infinite. And therefore none whose loss were less than irredeemable, although it were the wickedest in the world. Enter Teague and Seamus. Steward. What are you running for? Pull off your cap. Do you not see who's there? Seamus. I cannot wait. I am running to the world with the best news that has been brought it for 1,000 years. Steward. Then get your breath and speak. Seamus. If you'd my news, you'd run as fast and be as out of breath. Teague. Such news! We shall be carried on men's shoulders. There's something every man has carried with him, and thought no more about than if it were a mouthful of the wind. And now it's grown a marketable thing. Teague. And yet it seems as useless as the paring of one's nails. What sets me laughing when I think of it is that a rogue who's lain in lousy straw, if he but sell it, may set up in his coach. There are 2 gentlemen who buy men's souls. Oh God, and maybe there's no soul at all. Steward. They're drunk or mad. Teague. Look at the price they give. Showing money. Seamus. Tossing up money. Go cry it all about the world, they said. Money for souls, good money for a soul. Cathleen. Give twice and thrice and 20 times that money, and get your souls again. I will pay all. Seamus. Not we. Not we for souls. If there are souls, but keep the flesh out of its merriment. I shall be drunk and merry. Teague. Come, let's away. He goes. Cathleen. There's a world to come. Seamus. And if there is, I'd rather trust myself into the hands that can pay money down than into the hands that have but shaken famine from the bag. He goes outright, lilting. There's money for a soul, sweet yellow money. There's money for men's souls, good money, money. Cathleen to Allele. Go call them here again. Bring them by force. Beseech them, bribe, do anything you like. Allele goes. And you too follow. Add your prayers to his. Una, who has been praying, goes out. Steward, you know the secrets of my house. How much have I? Steward, 100 kegs of gold. How much have I in castles? As much more. How much have I in pasture? As much more. How much have I in forests? As much more. Keeping this house alone, sell all I have. Go barter where you please, but come again with herds of cattle and with ships of meal. Steward. God's blessing light upon your ladyship. You will have saved the land. Cathleen. Make no delay. He goes left. Allele and Una return. Cathleen. They have not come. Speak quickly. Allele. One drew his knife and said that he would kill a man or woman that stopped his way. And when I would have stopped him, he made this stroke at me. But it is nothing. Cathleen. You shall be tended. From this day forever I'll have no joy or sorrow of my own. Una. Their eyes shone like the eyes of birds of prey. Come, follow me, for the earth burns my feet till I have changed my house to such a refuge that the old and ailing and all weak of heart may escape from beak and claw. All shall come till the walls burst and the roof fall on us. From this day out, I have nothing of my own. She goes. Una, taking Allele by the arm, and as she speaks, bandaging his wound. She has found something now to put her hand to. And you and I are of no more account than flies upon a window pane in the winter. They go out. Scene 3. Hall in the house of Countess Cathleen. At the left, an oratory with steps leading up to it. At the right, a tapestried wall, more or less repeating the form of the oratory, and a great chair with its back against the wall. In the center are 2 or more arches through which one can see dimly the trees of the garden. Cathleen is kneeling in front of the altar in the oratory. There is a hanging lighted lamp over the altar. Allele enters. Allele. I have come to bid you leave this castle and fly out of these woods. Cathleen rises from the altar and comes into the hall. Cathleen. What evil is there here that is not everywhere from this to the sea? Allele. They who have sent me walk invisible. So it is true what I have heard men say, that you have seen and heard what others cannot. I was asleep in my bed, and while I slept my dream became a fire, and in the fire one walked and he had birds about his head. I have heard that one of the old gods walked so. It may be that he is angelical. And lady, he bids me call you out from these woods, and you must bring your old foster mother and some few serving men and live in the hills, among the sounds of music and the light of waters till the evil days are done. For here some terrible death is waiting for you. Some unimaginable evil, some great darkness that fable has not dreamt of, nor sun nor moon scattered. No, not angelical. This house you are to leave with some old, trusty man, and bid him shelter all that starve or wander while there is food and house room. Cathleen. He bids me go where none but mortal creatures but the swan dabbles. And there, he would pluck the harp, when the trees had made a heavy shadow about our door and talk among the rustling of the reeds, when night hunted the foolish sun away with stillness and pale tapers. No, I cannot. Although I weep, I do not weep because that life would be most happy. And here I find no way, no end. Nor do I weep because I had longed to look upon your face. That a night of prayer has made me weary. Allele, prostrating himself before her. Let him that made mankind, the angels and devils in dearth and plenty, mend what he has made. For when we labour in vain and eye still sees, heart breaks in vain. How would that quiet end? How but in healing? You have seen my tears, and I can see your hand shake on the floor. Allele, faltering. I thought but of healing. He was angelical. Cathleen, turning away from him. No, not angelical, but of the old gods, who wander about the world to waken the heart, the passionate, proud heart that all the angels, leaving 9 heavens empty, would rock to sleep. She goes to the oratory door. Allele holds his clasped hands towards her for a moment hesitatingly, and then lets them fall beside him. Do not hold out to me beseeching hands. This heart shall never waken on earth. I have sworn by her whose heart the 7 sorrows have pierced, to pray before this altar until my heart has grown to heaven like a tree. And there, rustled its leaves till heaven has saved my people. Allele, who has risen. When one so great has spoken of love to one so little as I, though to deny him love, what can he but hold out beseeching hands? Then let them fall beside him, knowing how greatly they have overdared. He goes towards the door of the hall. The Countess Cathleen takes a few steps towards him. If the old tales are true, queens have wed shepherds and kings beggar maids. God's procreant waters flowing about your mind have made you more than kings or queens. And not you, but I am the empty pitcher. Allele, being silent. I have said all. Yet let me stay beside you. No, not while my heart is shaken. No. We shall hear winds cry, and waters cry, and curlew cry, and have the peace I longed for. Give me your hand to kiss. I kiss your forehead, and yet I send you from me. Do not speak. There have been women that bid men to rob crowns from the country under wave, or apples upon a dragon-guarded hill, and all that they might sift the hearts and wills of men, and trembled as they bid it, as I trembled that lay a hard task on you that you go, and silently, do not turn your head. Do not turn your head and look. Above all else, I would not have you look. Allele goes. Never spoke to him of his wounded hand. She looks outside. I cannot see him. All is dark outside. Would my imagination and my heart were as little shaken as this holy flame. She goes slowly into the oratory. The distant sound of an alarm bell. The two merchants entered hurriedly. Second merchant. They are ringing the alarm, and in a moment they will be upon us. First merchant, going at door to the side. Here is the treasury. You'd my commands to put them all to sleep. Second merchant. Some angel or else her prayers protected them. Gives into the treasury and returns with bags of treasure. First merchant has been listening to the oratory door. First merchant. She has fallen asleep. Second merchant goes out through one of the arches at the back and stands listening. The bags are at his feet. Second merchant. We have all the treasure now, so let's away before they've tracked us out. First merchant. I have a plan. To win her. You have time enough if you would kill her and bear off her soul before they are upon us with their prayers. They search the western tower. First merchant. We cannot face the heavenly host in arms. Her soul must come to us of its own will. But being of the ninth and mightiest hell where all are kings, I have a plan to win it. Lady, we've news that's crying out for speech. Cathleen wakes and comes to door of oratory. Cathleen. Who calls? First merchant. Lady, we have brought news. What are you? We are merchants, and we know the book of the world, because we have walked upon its leaves and there have read of late matters that much concern you. And noticing the castle door stand open, came in to find an ear. Cathleen. Door stands open. Let no one who is famished or afraid despair of help or any welcome with it. But you have news, you say. First merchant. We saw a man heavy with sickness in the bog of Allen, whom you had bid buy cattle. Near Fairhead, we saw your grain ships lying all becalmed in the dark night, and not less still than they burned all their mirrored lanthorns in the sea. Thanks be to God, there's money in the house that can buy grain from those who have stored it up. Prosper on the hunger of the poor. But you've been far and know the signs of things. When will this famine end? Day copies day, and there's no sign of change. Nor can it change with the wheat withered and the cattle dead. Cathleen. And heard you of the demons who buy souls? There are some men who would hold they have wolves' heads, and say their limbs, dried by the infinite flame, have all the speed of storms. Others again say they are gross and little, while a few will have it they seem much as mortals are, but tall and brown and travelled. Like us, lady. Yet all agree a power is in their looks, that makes men bow and flings a casting net about their souls. And that all men would go and barter those poor vapours were it not you bribe them with the safety of your gold. Cathleen. Praise God, I am wealthy. Why do they sell? First merchant. As we came at the great door, we saw your porter sleeping in his niche. A soul too little to be worth 100 pence. And yet, they buy it for 100 crowns. But for a soul like yours, I heard them say, they will give 500,000 crowns and more. Cathleen. How can a heap of crowns pay for a soul? Is a green grave so terrible a thing? First merchant. Some sell because the money gleams, and some because they are in terror of the grave, and some because their neighbours sold before, and some because there is a kind of joy in casting hope away, in losing joy, in ceasing all resistance, in at last opening one's arms to the eternal flames, in casting all sails out upon the wind to this. Full of the gaiety of the lost, would all folk hurry if your gold were gone. There is something, merchant, in your voice that makes me fear. When you were telling how a man may lose his soul and lose his God, your eyes were lightened up. And when you told how my poor money serves the people both, merchants, forgive me, seemed to smile. First merchant. I laugh to think that all these people should be swung as on a lady's shoestring. Under them the glowing leagues of never-ending flame. There is something in you that I fear. Something not of us. Are you not born in some most distant corner of the world? The second merchant, who has been listening at the door, comes forward. A sound of voices and feet is heard. Second merchant. Away now. They are in the passage. Hurry. For they will know us and freeze our hearts with the Ave Marys and burn all our skin with holy water. First merchant. Farewell. For we must ride many a mile before the morning come. Our horses beat the ground impatiently. They go out. A number of peasants enter by the other door. First peasant. Forgive us, lady. Oh, we heard a noise. Second peasant. We sat by the fireside telling vanities. We heard a noise, but though we have searched the house, we have found nobody. Kathleen. You are too timid. For now you are safe from all the evil times. There is no evil that can find you here. Una, entering hurriedly. Oh, hon. The treasure room is broken in. The door stands open and the gold is gone. Peasants raise a lamentable cry. Kathleen. Be silent. The cry ceases. Have you seen nobody? Oh, hon. That my good mistress should lose all this money. Kathleen. Let those among you who are not too old to ride get horses and search all the country round. I'll give a farm to him who finds the thieves. A man with keys at his girdle has come in while she speaks. There is a general murmur of, The porter, the porter. Porter. Demons were here. I sat beside the door in my stone niche and 2 owls passed me by, whispering with human voices. Old peasant. God forsakes us. Kathleen. Old man, he never closed the door unless one opened. I am desolate because of a strange thought that's in my heart. But I still have my faith. Therefore be silent. For surely he does not forsake the world, but stands before it modelling in the clay and moulding there his image. Age by age the clay wars with his fingers and pleads hard for its old, heavy, dull, and shapeless ease. But sometimes, though his hand is on it still, it moves awry and demon hordes are born. Peasants cross themselves. Yet leave me now, for I am desolate. I hear a whisper from beyond the thunder. She comes from the oratory door. Yet stay an instant. When we meet again, I may have grown forgetful. Una, take these 2, the larder and the dairy keys. To the porter. But you, take this. It opens a small room of herbs for medicine, every kind of herb. The book of cures is on the upper shelf. Porter. Why do you do this, lady? Do you see a coffin in a dream? Kathleen. Ah, no. Not that. But I have come to a strange thought. I have heard a sound of wailing in unnumberable hovels. And I must go down. Down I know not where, pray for all men and women mad with famine. Pray, you good neighbours. The peasants all kneel. Countess Cathleen ascends the steps to the door of the oratory, and turning round, stands there motionless for a little, and then cries in a loud voice, Mary Queen of Angels, and all you clouds on clouds saints, farewell. Scene 4. Front scene. A wood near the castle, as in Scene 2. A group of peasants pass. First peasant. I have seen silver and copper, but not gold. Second peasant. It's yellow, and it shines. It's beautiful. The most beautiful thing under the sun, that's what I've heard. Third peasant. I have seen gold enough. Fourth peasant. I would not say that it's so beautiful. First peasant. But doesn't a gold piece glitter like the sun? That's what my father, who'd seen better days, told me when I was but a little boy. So high it's shining like the sun. Round and shining, that's what he said. Second peasant. There's nothing in the world it cannot buy. First peasant. They've got bags and bags of it. They go out. The two merchants follow silently. Then Alil passes over the stage singing. Alil. Impetuous heart, be still, be still. Your sorrowful love can never be told. Cover it up with a lonely tune. He who could bend all things to his will has covered the door of the infinite fold, the pale stars and the wandering moon. Scene 5. The house of Seamus Rua. There is an alcove at the back with curtains. In it, a bed. And on the bed is the body of Mary with candles round it. The two merchants, while they speak, put a large book upon the table, arrange money, and so on. First merchant. Thanks to that lie I told about her ships, and about the herdsman lying sick, we shall be too much thronged with souls tomorrow. Second merchant. What has she in her coffers now but mice? First merchant. When the night fell, I had shaped myself into the image of the man-headed owl, and hurried to the cliffs of Donegal, and saw with all their canvas full of wind and rushing through the particoloured sea those ships that bring the woman grain and meal. They are but 3 days from us. Second merchant. When the dew rose, I hurried in like feathers to the east, and saw 900 oxen driven through Meath with goads of iron. They are but 3 days from us. First merchant. 3 days for traffic. Peasants crowd in with Teague and Seamus. Seamus. Come in. Come in, you're welcome. That is my wife. She mocked at my great masters and would not deal with them. Now there she is. She does not even know she was a fool, so great a fool she was. Teague. She would not eat one crumb of bread bought with our master's money, but lived on nettles, dock, and dandelion. Seamus. There's nobody could put into her head that death is the worst thing that can happen us, though that sounds simple, for her tongue grew rank with all the lies that she had heard in chapel. Draw to the curtain. Teague draws it. You'll not play the fool while these good gentlemen are there to save you. Second merchant. Since the drought came, they drift about in a throng, like autumn leaves blown by the dreary winds. Come deal. Come deal. First merchant. Who will come deal with us? Seamus. They are out of spirit, sir, with lack of food, save 4 or 5. Here, sir, is one of these. The others will gain courage in a good time. Middle-aged man. I come to deal, if you give honest price. First merchant, reading in a book. John Moir, a man of substance, with dull mind and quiet senses and unventurous heart. The angels think him safe. 200 crowns, all for his soul, a little breath of wind. I ask 300 crowns. You have read there that no mere lapse of days can make me yours. First merchant. There is something more writ here. Often at night he is wakeful from a dread of growing poor, and thereon wonders if there's any man that he could rob in safety. A peasant. Who'd have thought it? And I was at once alone with him at midnight. I will not trust my mother after this. First merchant. There is a crack in you. 200 crowns. That's plenty for a rogue. I'd give him nothing. Seamus. You'll get no more. Just take what's offered you. A general murmur, during which the middle-aged man takes money and slips into background. First merchant. Has no one got a better soul than that? If only for the credit of your parishes, traffic with us. A woman. What will you give for mine? First merchant, reading in book. Soft, handsome, and still young. Not much, I think. It's certain that the man she's married to knows nothing of what's hidden in the jar between the hourglass and the pepper pot, the scandalous book, nor how, when he's away, at the horse fair, the hand that wrote what's hid will tap 3 times upon the window pane. And if there is a letter, that is no reason why I should have less money than the others. First merchant. You're almost safe. I give you 50 crowns. She turns to go. 100, then. Seamus. Woman, have sense. Is this a time to haggle at the price? There, take it up. There, take it up. That's right. She takes them and goes into the crowd. First merchant. Come. Deal. Deal, deal. It is but for charity we buy such souls at all. 1,000 sins made them our masters long before we came. Alil enters. Alil. Here. Take my soul, for I'm tired of it. I do not ask a price. Seamus. Not ask a price. How can you sell your soul without a price? I would not listen to his broken wits. His love for Countess Cathleen is so crazed him he hardly understands what he's saying. Alil. The trouble that has come on Countess Cathleen. The sorrow that is in her wasted face, the burden in her eyes, have broke my wits. And yet I know I'd have you take my soul. First merchant. We cannot take your soul, for it is hers. Alil. No, but you must. Seeing it cannot help it, I have grown tired of it. Be gone from me. I may not touch it. Is your power so small? And must I bear it with me all my days? May you be scorned and mocked. First merchant. Drag him away. He troubles me. Teague and Seamus lead Alil into the crowd. Second merchant. His gaze has filled me, brother, with shaking and a dreadful fear. First merchant. Lean forward and kiss the circlet where my master's lips were pressed upon it when he sent us hither. You shall have peace once more. Second merchant kisses the gold circlet that is about the head of the first merchant. I too grow weary. What we seek the most is drawing near. Our labor will soon end. Come. Come. Deal. Deal, 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 deal. Are you all dumb? What? Will you keep from me our ancient home and from the eternal reverie? Second merchant. Deal. Deal. Seamus. They say you beat the woman down too low. I offer this great price. 1,000 crowns for an old woman who is always ugly. An old peasant woman comes forward, and he takes up a book and reads. There is but little set down here against her. She has stolen eggs and fowl when times were bad, but when the times grew better had confessed it. She never missed her chapel of a Sunday, and when she could, paid dues. Take up your money. Old woman. God bless you, sir. She screams. Oh, sir! A pain went through me. First merchant. That name is like a fire to all damned souls. Murmur among the peasants, who shrink back from her as she goes out. A peasant. How she screamed out! Maybe we shall scream too. I tell you there is no such place as hell. First merchant. Can such a trifle turn you from your profit? Come. Deal. Come deal. Middle-aged man. Master, I am afraid. I bought your soul. And there's no sense in fear now the soul's gone. Master, I am afraid. Give me my soul again. Woman, going on her knees and clinging to merchant. And take this money too, and give me mine. Second merchant. Bare bastards. Drink or follow some wild fancy. For cryings out and sighs are the soul's work, and you have none. Throws the woman off. Peasant. Come. That's away. Yes. Yes. Come quickly. Come away. If that woman had not screamed, I would have lost my soul. They turn to door, but are stopped by shouts of, Countess Cathleen! Countess Cathleen! Cathleen, entering. And so you trade once more. First merchant. In spite of you. What brings you here, saint with the sapphire eyes? Cathleen. I come to barter a soul for a great price. Second merchant. What matter, if the soul be worth the price? Cathleen. The people starve. Therefore the people go thronging to you. I hear a cry come from them, and it is in my ears by night and day. And I would have 500,000 crowns that I may feed them till the dearth go by. First merchant. It may be the soul's worth. Cathleen. There is more. The souls that you've bought must be set free. First merchant. We know of but one soul that's worth the price. Cathleen. Being my own, it seems a priceless thing. Second merchant. You offer us. I offer my own soul. Peasant. Do not, for souls the like of ours are not precious to God as your soul is. Oh, what would heaven do without you, lady? Another peasant. Look how their claws clutch at their leathern gloves. First merchant. 500,000 crowns. We give the price. The gold is here. The souls, even while you speak, have slipped out of our bond. Because your face has shed a light on them and filled their hearts. But you must sign, for we omit no form in buying a soul like yours. Second merchant. Sign with this quill. It was a feather growing on the cock that crowed when Peter dared deny his master. And all who use it have great honor in hell. Cathleen leans forward to sign. Allele, rushing forward and snatching the pen from her. Leave all things to the builder of the heavens. Cathleen. I have no thoughts. I hear a cry. A cry. Allele, casting the pen on the ground. I have seen a vision under a green hedge. A hedge of hips and haws. Men yet shall hear the archangels rolling Satan's empty skull over the mountain tops. First merchant. Take him away. Teague and Seamus drag him roughly away so that he falls upon the floor among the peasants. Cathleen picks up parchment and signs. Cathleen, towards the peasants. Take out the money. And now come with me. When we are far from this polluted place, I will give everybody money enough. She goes out, the peasants crowding round her and kissing her dress. Allele and the two merchants are left alone. Second merchant. We must away and wait until she dies. Sitting above her tower is two grey owls, waiting as many years as may be, guarding our precious jewel, waiting to seize her soul. First merchant. We need but hover over her head in the air, for she has only minutes. When she signed, her heart began to break. Hush. Hush, I hear the brazen door of hell move on its hinges, and the eternal revelry float hither to hearten us. Second merchant. Leap feathered on the air, and meet them with her soul caught in your claws. They rush out. Allele crawls into the middle of the room. The twilight has fallen and gradually darkens as the scene goes on. There is a distant muttering of thunder and the sound of a rising storm. Allele. The brazen door stands wide. And Balor comes borne in his heavy car, and demons have lifted the age-weary eyelids from the eyes that of old gods turned to stone. Barak the traitor comes, and the lascivious race Caitlin, that cast a druid weakness and decay, oversold him an old Dectorus child. And that king Hell first took hold upon when he killed Nishi and broke Deirdre's heart. And all their heads are twisted to one side. For when they lived, they warred on beauty and peace, with obstinate, crafty, sidelong bitterness. Una enters. Crouch down, old heron. Out of the blind storm. Una. Where is the Countess Cathleen? All this day her eyes were full of tears, and when for a moment her hand was laid upon my hand, it trembled. Now I do not know where she has gone. Allele. Cathleen has chosen other friends than us, and they are rising through the hollow world. Demons are out, old heron. God guard her soul. She's bartered it away this very hour, as though we two were never in the world. He points downward. First, Orkil, her pale, beautiful head alive, her body shadowy as vapour drifting under the dawn, for she who awoke desire has but a heart of blood when others die. About her is a vapoury multitude of women alluring devils with soft laughter. Behind her is a host heat of the blood-made sin, but all the little pink-white nails have grown to be great talons. He seizes Una and drags her into the middle of the room and points downward with vehement gestures. The wind roars. They are beginning a song, and there is still some music on their tongues. Una, casting herself face down towards the floor. O maker of all, protect her from the demons. And if a soul must needs be lost, take mine. Allele kneels beside her, but does not seem to hear her words. The peasants return. They carry the Countess Cathleen and lay her upon the ground before Una and Allele. She lies there as if dead. Una. That so many pitchers of rough clay should prosper, and the porcelain break in two. She kisses the hands of Cathleen. A peasant. We were under the tree where the path turns. She grew pale as death and fainted away. And while we bore her hither, cloudy gusts blackened the world and shook us on our feet. Draw the great bolt, for no man has beheld so black, bitter, blinding a sudden a storm. One who is near the door draws the bolt. Cathleen. Oh, hold me. And hold me tightly, for the storm is dragging me away. Una takes her in her arms. A woman begins to wail. Peasants, hush! Cathleen, half rising. Lay all the bags of money in a heap. And when I'm gone, old Una, share them out to every man and woman. Judge and give according to their needs. A peasant woman. And will she give enough to keep my children going through the dearth? Another peasant woman. O Queen of Heaven and all your blessed saints, let us and ours be lost, so she be striven. Cathleen. Bend down your faces. Una and Allele. Gaze upon them as the swallow gazes upon the nest under the eave, before she wanders loud waters. Do not weep too great a while. There is many a candle on the high altar, though one fall. Allele, who sang about the dances of the woods, that know not the hard burden of the world, having but breath in their kind bodies. Farewell. And farewell, Una, who played with me and bore me in your arms about the house when I was but a child, and therefore happy. Even like those that dance. The storm is in my hair, and I must go. She dies. Una, bring me the looking glass. A woman brings it her. Una holds it up over the lips of Cathleen. All is silent for a moment. And then she speaks in a half-scream. "Oh, she is dead!" A peasant. "She was the great white lily of the world." Another peasant. "Is more beautiful than the pale stars." An old peasant woman. "The little plant I loved is broken in two." Alil takes the looking glass from Una and flings it upon the floor so that it is broken in many pieces. Alil. "I shatter you in fragments. For the face that brimmed you up with beauty is no more. And die, dull heart. For she whose mournful words made you a living spirit has passed away, and left you but a ball of passionate dust. And you, proud earth and plummy sea, fade out. For you may hear no more her faltering feet, but are left lonely amid the clamorous war of angels upon devils." He stands up. Almost everyone is kneeling, but it has grown so dark that only confused forms can be seen. "And I who weep call curses on you, time and fate and change, and have no excellence hope but the great hour when you shall plunge headlong through bottomless space." A flash of lightning followed immediately by thunder. A peasant woman. "Pull him upon his knees before his curses have plucked thunder and lightning on our heads." Alil. "Angels and devils clash in the middle air, and brazen swords clang upon brazen helms." A flash of lightning followed immediately by thunder. "Yonder, a bright spear cast out of sling has torn through Balor's eye, and the dark clans fly screaming as they fled Moir of old." Everything is lost in darkness. An old man. "The almighty wrath at our great weakness and sin has blotted out the world, and we must die." The darkness is broken by a visionary light. The peasants seem to be kneeling upon the rocky slope of a mountain, and vapor full of storm and ever-changing light is sweeping above them and behind them. Half in the light, half in the shadow, stand armed angels. Their armor is old and worn, and their drawn swords dim and dinted. They stand as if upon the air in formation of battle, and look downward with stern faces. The peasants cast themselves to the ground. Alil. "Look no more on the half-closed gates of hell, but speak to me, whose mind is smitten of God, that it may be no more with mortal things, and tell of her who lies there." He seizes one of the angel. "Till you speak, you shall not drift into eternity." The angel. "The light beats down. The gates of pearl are wide, and she is passing to the floor of peace. And Mary of the 7 times wounded heart has kissed her lips, and the long blessed hair has fallen on her face. The light of lights looks always on the motive, not the deed. The shadow of shadows on the deed alone." Alil releases the angel and kneels. Una. "Tell them who walk upon the floor of peace that I would die and go to her I love. The years like great black oxen tread the world, and God, the herdsman, goads them on behind. And I am broken by their passing feet." A sound of far-off horn seems to come from the heart of the light. The vision melts away, and the form of the kneeling peasants appears faintly in the darkness. The end. And that is the end of The Countess Cathleen, written by W.B. Yeats in 1892. I liked that this one allowed me to bust out my acting chops, and I've now gotten a new microphone that allows me to yell into it slightly more, so now I don't have to focus on not making the whole audio peak and sound terrible, and I can actually yell into it and get some actual candor and rage into it. So that was very nice, and I'm glad that I brought this microphone now. This play was not exactly what I was expecting, but then again, I'm not entirely sure what I was going into expecting for it, but I think it was a good play nonetheless. The ending really helped to satisfy and solidify everything at the very end. I think when staged, it would be really fun if I could go and play one of the merchants. In my mind, I was just envisioning the entire time how the first merchant was like the sly sales tradesman person, and then the second merchant was the buff bodyguard who was looking out for his brother and was the muscle. But perhaps that's just me and my interpretation how I would stage it. In either case, if you like what I do, please consider following, subscribing, sharing, most importantly sharing. I have actually gotten up to 1,000 views on one of my videos, and I'm very happy about that. And I'd like to continue to see the rest of the videos grow and to be able to show people less popular plays and plays that have a cultural impact, even if it's not our own culture. The monologue in there that was actually referencing the story of Deirdre actually it would have made no sense if I hadn't recorded the previous J.M. Synge Deirdre of Sorrows. And I'm actually very happy and pleased that I did record that, so I had the context of which to understand what was going on. There's a lot more to that legend than I previously thought that there was. So I'll be more excited to read into some more of W.B. Yeats, because I'm pretty sure that he has an entire collection of plays that are meant to help illustrate the legend of Uisna and all those people, and I'll be very excited to see how it goes. Anyways, that's enough of me talking, so I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to have you back in Brendan Moir's Playwright Corner. Thank you.